What's going on, guys? Your everyday options trader back here with yet another video. I do apologize as I have been a little bit under the weather this past week, but I've had a couple requests to go through my exact setup with this Lux Algo Premium. So first of all, you do need to have Lux Algo Premium for this setup to work. So basically, the indicators that you're going to get once you get Lux Algo Premium, down here in invite only scripts on TradingView, you'll have Lux Algo Premium, premium oscillators, and SR patterns down here. So your oscillators, so basically all you're going to need is the Lux Algo Premium and the oscillators. You don't necessarily need the SR and patterns. Those are just the two that I use, but you can use all three in conjunction. So once you have those, you just basically click on them, both of these, and they'll be added to your chart. You can go up here to your settings. Now, under the settings, this is how I have mine set up: signal sensitivity 10, make sure autopilot is off, Neo Cloud, trend tracer, trend catcher, and of course I have my dashboard as well. Under candle coloring, excuse me, we're under confirmation gradient here. You can skip all of this right here. And then, of course, when you have the signal set up, you can set those up however you like, right? So this would be for a sell. So this would be trend tracer down, trend catcher down. Now, mind you, this is only going to count if it's red, right? Not if it's actually moving. So part of it is you do need to be checking on the chart every once in a while. You can also filter for trend strength down here as well. Now, for my oscillators, I just kept this one on the default settings. It should just look just like this: dynamic overbought, oversold levels, and that's going to help you filter out, okay, hey, this is getting to pretty overbought territory. This will not be an entry anyways, because as you can see, the Neo Cloud is red here, starting to turn blue. But if this does start to take off, this turns green, and this is blue, that would definitely be an entry I would look into getting in. As you can see, the market is open right now. We've had some pretty decent trade opportunities on some non-indices this morning as well, be that with especially Meta here. Got that really nice long position here as well, worked out pretty well. And then of course there's also been some movement on Amazon and a little bit on Apple, though we're not quite to that point yet. We did have this nice beautiful double candle this morning. um, that one was, if you jumped in somewhere up here and you just rode that bad boy down, I mean, that's a well over 100% trade there. A nice little rejection off the bottom, and boom, right back up. So definitely a good setup waiting to happen here. On the triple Q as well, good setup starting to form on the SPY. Good setup starting to form, right? But we're not quite to that point. As you can see, we still do have some red in here. This is green. You can see our volume down here is still a little bit negative, but our trend strength is nice and strong. So that's something I would probably jump into if this does turn green. Something else to keep in mind too, you know, don't look for trades that aren't there, right? So, you may have, once this line turned green, you may have been like, okay, this might be a good entry opportunity. And even if you entered here, you would have been fine, but it can just as easily turn against you very quickly, especially if you have your stop set at this line here. That can turn against you very quickly. So let's look at the previous day. Yesterday, of course, there was a good kind of spin down on the stocks right at open, good little bleed off. That was a nice little trade opportunity there. Couple minutes. And then we had another nice trade opportunity in the afternoon. As you can see, the Neo Cloud was all red, so it should have just been a purely short day, which it was. And the day before as well, we had a big green day. And you can see the Neo Cloud was all blue. These are the perfect trading days here where you have one consistent direction. That way you don't really have to worry about, chasing any stops or anything along those lines, though. You did have a little bit of a test here if you had your stop set up at this green line. And if we look at the day before, another beautiful trading day, kind of flat on the open, but did ultimately end up falling off for just a little over an hour here, and then stayed flat after that. As far as my alerts go, I'll show you guys how those are set up. since there have been some questions about those. So basically for the alerts, you have strong buy, strong sell, and sell. So basically how those are set up. So under the conditions, you're going to go under Lux Algo Premium, filtered signal alert, which is the one you create within here. Just right down here. So for a sell, it would be any confirmation sell, trend tracer down, trend catcher down. You can also filter for trend strength as well, which I do like to do sometimes. It just really depends on the day. If it's a very volatile day, I'm not going to worry about it because volatility is your friend with this strategy. And the exact opposite true. The exact opposite is true for buys as well. So you would go any confirmation buy, and then for the strongs, you go strong buy and strong sell. So it's just that easy, guys. Super, super easy to set up, super, super easy to do. You will get those signals fed directly to your phone if you so wish, or through your TradingView app if you are doing this at work. And it can be somewhat semi-passive. Now, you would not have gotten a signal here. Let me show you where you would have gotten a signal. So you would have gotten a signal here, which in theory would have actually been correct, right? If you entered on the next candle, you would have been able to ride that down. But sometimes you will get signals to where it's just flat. Let me see if I can't find one of those right here. Might have to go back a little bit. It's a rarer occasion, right? So something like this, right? Where it's not really moving, um, but it is flat, so that would have been a signal you wouldn't chase. Um, this strategy really just helps filter these Lux Algo signals. This would be something you would call direct, right? So if it was direct and this was moving upwards like it is, but these are not moving upwards, if they were, that would be a direct signal. An indirect would be something like this. You see red cloud, red signal, trend catcher and trend tracer both moving down here. You can see they're both moving in a downwards direction. These do not repaint, so that's something you can actually watch it move as it goes. I can show you guys that here in real time. So you can see right here as this candle moves, especially if I go to a 1 minute, and it will take a second to load up, you can see them move up and down in real time. And this, yes, this does work on a 1 minute chart, but you need to be extremely agile to get to something like that. So I recommend a 5 minute chart. It does also work on the 15, which I have tested, but I would generally just stick to a 5, especially if you can be here and you can watch it. It'll definitely make your trades much more profitable. As far as when you will actually exit, I'll show you guys an example of that again. So exits, excuse me. Exits would be, so let's say you entered the trade here on this one as it drops down, close of this candle, right? You would be able to maintain the trade all the way to here. After that second candle, the trend catcher goes flat, right? So the line's your trend tracer, these little stars are your trend catcher. When it's flat, that's time for you to exit because that means there's not enough directional change for it to happen. You can also get the cue down here where it is very, very much oversold. Um, so that generally indicates a change of direction, but not always. It can most definitely go even more oversold. So that's just something also to keep an eye on. Here's another example here. This would have been an indirect. So you could have jumped in here. You technically would have jumped out here. The candles are green in this case. This is green. That's just that confirmation gradient coloring. But let's say you jumped in here and we're able to ride this down. And you can see it got flat right about here. Ultimately, it did go down one more peg, but it was then flat just again, and you had a little bit of rejection off the bottom. So especially if you're doing this with options, we all know that price action isn't everything with options, especially trading, 1 to 0 DTE. So there's a lot of any volatility in price movement. If you hit that, and even if you had bought in here and you decided to hold it up till here, you would think that your premium would be, basically half, but it's going to be less, right? Just simply because, especially here, it's towards the end of the trading day, and there's not going to be as much volume that you need to dump that. So you may have to get rid of some of your premium just to get rid of that option, because the whole objective is not to hold these overnight, especially now with the way that the market is. You never know how it can change from day to day. You saw we had a big down day yesterday, and it actually gapped up in the pre-market this morning. And then now we're just kind of not really doing a whole lot, right? It's staying pretty flat, pretty within its band. It's not really doing too much. And we'll see what today holds. We could definitely have an upside breakout if we can break through this, I believe it's 275 level. Um, or we can most definitely have a downside breakout. You can see our hard resistance right here, right around 270. And the previous day low, right around here at 268, 269. So those are some ideal kind of areas to keep in mind. See, we kind of did have a double bottom here, so that could mean an upside breakout. Who knows? To be honest, the market is just being very, very weird this week, especially with all the news coming out. So we will see how it develops into next week. I'll keep you guys updated. I also have another video coming out here within the next couple days on a brand new strategy that I've been seeing all over the YouTube here, and it seems to be working pretty well. I've been doing some testing on it this past week, and it is also pretty much in line with the 75 to 80% win ratio that I've been trying to maintain. And of course, none of this is financial advice. None of this is perfect. So take it all with a grain of salt. Use your own stops. Please do your own research and back testing. That's basically how I got this far. And if you guys like this content, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out, gives me more time to make more videos for you guys. If there's anything you want me to go over, any strategies you would like me to take a look at and analyze for you, let me know down in the comments below. And as always, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in.